Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Mental Health Monday. We are just waiting for Kayla to get here so we can get started. There we are. Let's invite you in. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello,
There you
hello.
are.
Hello. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Yes.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I was very glad to see the title of check in, because that's how it feels like today just needs to be. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, are we doing our intros and all that good stuff still?
Yeah.
I
I
know.
guess we
Before we
should.
jump into all the thoughts and feelings, who are we first?
Yes, yes. I can start if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hello, folks. My name is Katrina Long. I am a holistic healing arts therapist in Inglewood, California, and the founder of Manifesting Me Wellness. And today we're just here to check in for some Mental Health Monday and see what's going on.
Yes. Thank you. My name is Kayla. Hello, world. And I work as a yoga psychotherapist and use my community centered small business, The Well Healing, to provide holistic health education resources, all kinds of good stuff for a community. Um, and glad to be here with you as my community today because it has been uh interesting time, and especially as a therapist, like even for today
Hmm.
a lot of my sessions have just been how to manage, cope, sit in the reality of that which is as a Black person. So I'm feeling it. I know my clients are feeling it, my friends,
Yes,
family, loved ones are feeling it. It's the heaviness that keeps on being heavy, you know.
yes, yes,
So yeah,
absolutely.
how's it looking in your
Yeah.
world?
Um, about the same, honestly. I think last week was particularly tough, and I think this week is just feeling like riding that wave.
Mm.
So we're not at the peak of it anymore, but we're still just kind of like not really sure what's happening, just getting through. Um, but yeah, like you said, many of my clients are just trying to find ways in order to kind of keep their heads above water in this moment. And um, what I was sharing with you when we were talking about this is um, it's this feeling of not really knowing what to say,
Right.
and also feeling like I've said everything already. So there's nothing new, but it feels like something needs to be shared and seen because there's something still happening. And it's a very weird, like, space to be in.
Yeah, 1,000%. I feel like not feel like, but literally last month when we were checking in, we were talking about the ways that Black women are disrespected, unheard,
Yes,
uncared for, and
yes.
I'm like, well, goddamn, are we just gonna be talking
Here we
about
are
like
again.
the same thing? Because undoubtedly, like it could be that each month, each
Mm-hmm.
week, unfortunately. And so I also was kind of like, what? I don't think there is anything new to say. I think it's unfortunately just another manifestation of the ways that anti-Black violence shows up.
Yes.
Um, and specifically, if for some reason you're unsure what we're talking about, last week was the indictment verdict. I don't know what word goes there. They had an indictment of the police officers in Breonna Taylor's case decided to only charge one with wanton endangerment, which really just was talking about the shots that were fired in other places that were endangering the residents. I know, the ultimate gag. I saw and posted a picture, and it was talking about they charged the cop for the shots that they missed, and that shit. I'm cursing a lot this, so I can't hold the filter.
That's okay.
And give the info
That's
this
okay.
week, y'all, okay.
No, we're here. This is where we at.
But I was just like, damn, like it really. It hurt to read, but it's also very true. So anyways, that's kind of the particular heaviness that's present for folks this week. I've also been reading, I don't even want to say of course, but been reading about another Black trans woman who was killed. So it's like, no matter where you turn your head, it's a whole lot of death and destruction right now. And that is very, very heavy to sit with. So I'm curious in those sessions or with people in your life or even for yourself, not to like jump to how are you coping skills, but like what is making it through and maintaining looking like for you right now?
That's a really good question. And what I think is interesting about that question is I think that's what clients are looking for in this moment. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't have the answers, right? I think what you said in the beginning about being a therapist in this time, as a Black woman specifically, like, it's such a challenge because I'm finding out about news and then walking into session trying to put on my therapist hat while also still processing what just happened. Because we just saw the same news 5 minutes before this session started, and I still, as a human being, as a Black woman, am still like, what the hell is happening? Like, what is this? I don't even have time to process it. And then I'm going in, putting on my therapist hat. And I think this year, especially with everything that's been going on, clients are more likely to be like, what am I supposed to do? Like, how am I supposed to deal with this? And I can give you the same coping skills that tend to work for all of us. You know, use your mindfulness, like journal, like all of that kind of stuff. And not to say that that stuff doesn't work and may not work or be helpful in this moment, but it also just feels like, no, I don't have anything. Feel it. Feel it. Be in these emotions. Understand that this is the reality that we're living in, and it's shitty, and it sucks, and it's scary, and it hurts, and all of that. Like, all I'm doing is validating it, and I'm here with you. I see you. I hear you. Like, that's all I have. That's really all I have at this moment.
I know.
What's that looking like for you?
Very, very similarly. I feel like my grad professors would be like astounded seeing my sessions because I'm not trying to change nobody's minds in terms of how bleak stuff looks. And that's managed professionally in a way that I'm, of course, like keeping folks safe, but also just being real that, like, you know, if today you maintaining is just making it through the day in your bed, then congratulations, like, for real. Because it's the same thing. I can, of course, throw some coping skills at you, but am I going to be able to share anything in this moment or give you something that's going to make it make sense or make the pain go away? Like, no.
Nope.
That doesn't exist here for either of us. And I'm sharing as well, like, I'm right here with you, and it's a hard place to be in, just quite frankly. And then, and as my brain continues to roll on the Black women being disrespected train, even from the last place we picked up from last month,
Right.
girl, I don't even know if I want to give it space, but Tory Lanez dropping this album.
Listen.
First of all, five of all. So I've personally decided, because again, like I said last month, I'm a hot girl. That's my coach. And I'm choosing to not give Tory any streams. I've heard the argument from community, well, we need to hear both sides. And I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Like that's often the response. And I don't think that's incorrect to like allow folks involved, everyone to have a voice. And there's also, I think, choices that we get to make that can just be rooted in a politic that is real and like authentic for us. So I say that to say that like I've been thinking about what it means to have had all this support for Breonna Taylor, all this conversation around Meg. We love Black women, support Black women.
Yeah.
All the memes, all the posts, ooh, you know, all the videos, cute and inspiring. And then these moments where like something grounded and practical can be done to actually support Black women, all of a sudden.
And then what's happening?
Right. All of a sudden, it's not as inspirational and full of memes anymore. And I'm just like, well, what's going on?
Right.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I feel you. I feel you on all of that. And I think from our last conversation to today, there's been so many moments where we are being faced with this reality. Not that we're not faced with it every day as Black women, but that we are being faced with it on a public scale that everybody gets to see it, right? And so I think for me, it has been just like, at what point does it become about the Black women and not about your platform and not about your ideals or your perspective? Like, when does it just become about Black women supporting and providing for and loving on and protecting Black women? And that's the part that I feel like is often missing. Like, it's cute memes, it's cute stuff to talk about on the internet. You have a platform, you want to say something, you got to post something, you want your algorithm to be all right, you want people to see you, like, all of that is happening. But at the end of the day, when these things come down the pipeline, like, are you really looking at, like, how you are showing it? And what does that look like? And I'm seeing so many people who were on the bandwagon who are now off the bandwagon when it's time to show up. And I just,
My phrase for all of 2020 is I'm shook but not shocked. So again, shook but not shocked to see the response. And I think your question of when does it actually become about Black women is such a grounding question for, I think, all of us to return to, because it is so clear in these moments how much performance is just happening all the time. I was just listening to a podcast the other day that was talking about the algorithm. They were talking about Twitter, but it makes sense on Instagram too. And how it's the performance of, I know that everybody's talking about this right now, so I'm going to talk about this right now. And the idea of that for such oh my gosh, like when it's about your life is so like hard to swallow. I don't even know what to do with that. I'm listening to myself and I'm like, damn, this sounds like a depressing ass. But it's facts. And I actually think that it's actually okay to just sit in it. I like that you've been giving your clients permission to just sit in it. I give folks watching permission to just sit in it. I think
Yes.
thinking about the algorithm and what works and what's good for online, it's easy to, I see a lot of quick, just jumping for the solution as soon as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if we did allow us to sit in the like disgusting, because it's really disgusting. Like that's
It's gross.
actually,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
how I feel. Like it's beyond just disappointment now. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I don't even have the words. I don't have the words for it. And so I don't know. I don't know,
Yeah.
y'all. That's the real. That's the real and the raw.
That's where it is. That's where it
Yeah.
is. It's disgusting and it's offensive and it's hurtful and it's hard, and you're right, it's not shocking, but it is still all of those things.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't change the fact that this is still my life, my livelihood, my way of being and showing up in the world that is in danger, that is being used
Right.
in a lot of different really like gross ways, and that feels so, yeah, it feels gross, it feels disgusting, and it's hard to really just be like, okay, let's just keep moving. Like, no, I'm gonna sit with the fact that this is disgusting and this is hurtful and it's hard and I'm feeling this. I heard a lot of people, or saw a lot of people rather, talking about how they weren't shocked by the Breonna Taylor um, case or how everything went down, but that they still felt a lot of things. And they were really conflicted with the fact that it's not shocking. So I feel like I shouldn't feel hurt, but I'm still hurt, right? I'm still offended. I still feel some kind of way. I still feel unsafe. And so I think there's something to be said for being able to just be in the emotions, because it doesn't matter how many times it happens. It doesn't matter how many times we feel it and experience it and see it. This shit still hurts. Like, it still doesn't feel good. It's a reminder again and again and again. And yeah, I think that's just where we need to be to some degree to be able to feel it. And then, of course, I go into this perspective of, like, as Black people, how often have we been able to just feel stuff? Like, we haven't. How often do we get to process these things? We just keep moving. That has been our way of functioning because that is our way to survive. But when it's happening so frequently and on top of a pandemic and everything else that we have going on in this world, like, nah, maybe we just need to sit still. Maybe we just need to feel it in this moment and just be with one another. And I think that has been what's helping me, is just watching other people process on social media, engaging with other people's process on social media, and then talking to friends and them also processing with me in the same way of just being like, I don't know. I'm just, this sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's something that opens when we allow ourselves to stay in it, to feel through it together. Like, I actually think it's good that right now we're just sort of modeling what it looks like to just sit in the feeling, which sitting with the feelings of noticing, like, these are the ways that I am feeling, being aware of, like, how it's impacting the ways that you're thinking about yourself or about the world, like, and just to allow what's coming up and what's real for you to just be there for a moment without rushing to fix or solve or pacify whatever is there. And that's why I think sharing with others, engaging in other folks' process, I love that. I think that's something so important, to validate that you're not alone, and to also have like other support. Sometimes the support is
Yeah.
just being seen. Nothing has to be
Mhm.
done or said, but it's just to be recognized as someone who
Yeah.
is experiencing this really painful thing.
Mhm.
And I think that right now, for me and for, well, I'll speak for myself. For me, like, that's just what it needs to be right now, is letting myself have moments or days where I don't feel my best, I don't feel okay. Um, Trying to manage that with also having to show up in the world. I think that's the biggest part.
Oh
I
my
think
gosh.
maybe it'd
Yes.
be easier to
Yes.
be with and be in the feeling if I didn't have to snap a game face on and go into a
Yes.
meeting with, non-black folks and stuff like that, or just having to
Yes.
fake the funk. I think that's actually the hardest part. Well, it's not the hardest
Mhm.
part, but it's one of the most challenging things, is not only
Mhm.
feeling it, but having to have moments where I have to swallow it, put on a mask, act like that's not
Yeah.
happening. And that
Yeah.
effort actually being the thing that feels so draining.
Mhm.
Yeah. So having spaces where
Yeah.
you can be authentic is why that's so important.
Yes. Mhm. I've been thinking a lot in this year, especially this year, but I think about this every so often. But thinking a lot this year about what it means to be a black woman and a therapist, and how all of those intersections combine and start to integrate, and how that impacts us, right? And so saying in this space here with you, like, I'm acknowledging the challenges that is being a black female therapist in this moment,
Yeah.
and the fact that you are having to show up, and the fact that you are having to, like, put your game face on sometimes to show up for clients in different ways, when maybe you want to be on the other side of that,
Mm,
when maybe you want to be the one sitting in the chair crying your eyes out and unsure and asking all the questions.
yeah.
So just acknowledging that, like, I see and I hear, and like every time something happens, I'm just like, oh, black female therapist in this moment. Like, shout out to us, right? Shout out to
Honestly,
you, like, because this is, I don't even know how we're making it in this moment. Like, I don't.
I know. I think all black therapists should just have their rents paid for through the rest of the
Listen,
pandemic. Of
listen.
course, I'm biased. Everybody deserves that. And I'm like, listen, the labor that is going into keeping myself together to help keep others together,
Seriously.
there's not enough money in this
Oh,
world. But
no.
um, it is. It's real, like, soul work. I feel
Yeah.
like, to be a black therapist, a black woman who's also a therapist, because
Mhm.
there is so much that sits in the room with us, and with our clients, and it's no more evident than in contexts like this when we're
Right.
feeling together. I showed up in my session and my client let me know that the world has them effed up, and I was like, well, me too. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
what? Where are we gonna go with this session? Because I feel you, fam. Like, and that's real. Um,
Yeah.
but we sit in it, and to leave with something, because
Yeah.
the biggest thing that I am seeing as a thread line with some folks in and out of the office is a sense of, like, hopelessness,
Yep.
and the valid feeling in this time. Also want to give space for the fact that hopelessness can lead us down some paths that we don't want you to go down, because you
Absolutely.
matter to us in community. And to name it, like, ending your
Absolutely.
life, self-harm,
Yeah.
right? We talk about these things. So something that
Mhm.
I have been sharing, to not give hope around like the government's gonna change one day and we
Right.
just gotta, okay. But
Yeah.
finding something that is purposeful,
Mm.
that is a purpose for you, that matters enough to you, that is a reason to get up out of bed every morning, or
Mm-hmm.
even if to not get out of bed, to just keep going until you do feel like getting out of bed.
Yes.
So I am bringing myself and folks around me back to like our purpose, whatever you
Yes.
have found, right? And it's really creating, making meaning out of your life, out of a moment that is senseless violence, because there is no
Yes.
rationale to what's
Mm.
going on. And I'm not going to sit
Mm-hmm.
here and try to make it that. But we still need you. And so finding whatever it is that is motivation enough, inspiring enough, whether that is connected to activism, it also doesn't have to be. That might just be
Right.
your family. That might be your art. That might be
Mm-hmm.
whatever that looks like for you. But there does have to be some sort of why. Otherwise, this is
Yes.
such a bleak experience to be in. So I do encourage folks to connect back to what is your why for being here, and what about that purpose is so important to you, why
Yes.
you need to be here to continue to see your part of that work carry on,
Mm-hmm.
um, and let that be at least the boat, the container, while we're on
Yes.
this ride. But
Yes.
you also get to
Yes.
acknowledge that, you know, this sucks.
Right. Right, exactly. Yes.
To put it
I
gently.
love what you said about just finding that purpose for yourself, and that is individualized for each person. It reminds me of our conversation in July about activism and how it can look
Mm.
different for each person. And right, so we had that conversation around letting people know that whatever your gift is how activism can show up in your life.
Right.
And
Yes.
so this is very in alignment with that, this idea of like, what is your purpose and what feels good to you for to keep you going, right? It's not about the government. It's not about the folks that are not protecting Black women. It's not about anybody else but you. Like, how are you engaging and showing up in the world and what feels good to you, and taking that and just living in that, like being in that experience, sharing that experience with the world, like using that,
Yeah.
because that is your power, that is your gift, that is the joy that you have, the light that you bring to the world, and that's what we are needing. We're needing a lot of light right now,
Yes.
a lot of joy right now,
A lot.
just a lot, a lot. So yeah, thank you for bringing us back to that, because I think that we just keep coming back, right,
Right.
into that same space of like showing up as you for you.
Right. Yeah. So please, and if you are having a hard time or don't have a sense of what is my why or my purpose, you're feeling hopeless, having thoughts of wanting to end your life, hurt yourself, find support
Please.
immediately. So connect with a therapist, connect with a trusted community member, speak with a loved one, let somebody know what's
Yes.
going on. There are plenty of free resources these days, scholarships, especially for Black folks.
Mhm.
So you don't have to be in it by yourself, and that's
Right.
regardless of where you are on that spectrum. Like for all of us right now,
Absolutely.
Black folks, we do not need to be in this by ourselves. So connect to your people who you can be real
Yes.
and authentic with in and out of professional settings. But
Yes.
um, while we're moving through this, we just gotta hold tight, I think, to one another.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Knowing that it won't always be this way. We don't know what that exactly looks like, but it won't always be this way. It wasn't this way always, and it
Mm-hmm.
won't continue to be this way always, right? It will shift and change. So we're just riding the wave, but we have to really keep ourselves together as we ride the wave. So
Yes.
take care of yourselves, please, family and community. Take care of yourself. I did a grief group on Friday to talk about everything that people in this community were feeling, and one of the things that came out of it, and we'll kind of leave this at the end as the ending, was this idea of like sometimes in all of this, we're all in it together, but some days and some moments you might have more than I do. And so when you have a little bit more, share what you have, right? Because maybe you have a little bit more light, maybe you have a little bit more energy, and so you have the ability to go and just give a hug and say, I'm here, or I'm here to listen, or whatever the case may be. And
Yeah.
so when you have a little bit more to give, be willing to give that and share that with the community, because we are all in this together, and we're all struggling through it. But some days you might wake up and feel a little bit better than you did yesterday. So share that light, because that is how we keep going.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Take care of yourself so we can take care
Yes,
of each other.
exactly.
Boom. For real, for
Exactly.
real. So thank
Yeah.
you, Callie, for taking care
Yeah.
of me today and allowing me to share how
Mm.
I'm feeling for real, and to have this conversation. Thanks, folks, for dropping in, for listening. Um, and we'll see where things are at next month.
Yeah. We'll be back next month.
Yes.
Maybe we'll be talking about something else.
I
Maybe
know.
we'll be in the same place. We'll see.
We'll see. But yes, last Monday of every month, check in, tap in, and I look forward to it.
1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on Instagram. Just two dope black therapists having a conversation about what's going on in our world, sharing with our community, and hoping that y'all get some love and some care out of this as well. We'll see y'all next month.
Big love. Bye, everybody.
All right, Kayla, have a good day.
Bye, you too.